our self-esteem depends on how we see our qualities. If we are rich, tall, and healthy, and think that these features are positive, our self-esteem will be high. If we are alone, poor, and sick, and think that these features are negative, our self-esteem will be low. People often think these values are fixed, but history shows they're not. Long ago, having fair skin was good because it meant a higher social status. Nowadays, being tan is seen as positive. This shows that what we value in ourselves can change. Values can shift when things are connected. If we link a bad quality with a good one, the bad one seems better. Marketing uses this idea with testimonials to make products look good. We want to do the same for our negative qualities that bring down our self-esteem. So, we made some videos pointing out common negative qualities. For each one, there's a list of people who share it. Knowing that we are not alone may help to render them less negative and more tolerable. Enjoy watching and learning. Colombo is a shrewd but inelegant blue-collar homicide detective at the Los Angeles Police Department, whose trademarks include his rumpled beige raincoat, unassuming demeanor, cigar, old Peugeot car. The recurring plot's homicide suspects are mostly clever, wealthy, and taller than Colombo. They carefully cover their tracks and are initially dismissive of Colombo's modest physical aspect, dressing style, circumstantial speech, and apparent ineptitude. They become increasingly unsettled as his pestering behavior teases out incriminating evidence. Albert Einstein, 1879, 1955, was a naturalized Swiss and American-German physicist. Generally considered the most important physicist of the 20th century, he is known to the general public also for the formula of the mass energy equivalence, recognized as the most famous equation in the world, and for all his works, which also had a strong influence on the philosophy of science. Hermann Minkowski was one of Einstein's professors of mathematics at the Zurich Polytechnic, 1896-1900, but Einstein was not interested in mathematics at the time, and skipped most of his lectures. Minkowski, who was the first to recognize the formal mathematical importance of Einstein's relativity theory, once admitted to physicist Max Born, "For me it came as a tremendous surprise, for in his student days Einstein had been a real lazybones. He never bothered about mathematics at all." Barbara McClintock, 1900-1984, was an American biologist, remembered for her seminal work on genetic transposable elements, which, unlike normal genes, are able to move from one position to another, literally, to jump within and between chromosomes. The reaction of the scientific community to her discovery was wary at first, if not openly hostile. In those years, women were still underestimated in science, and this did not help McClintock's notion of jumping genes to be accepted. McClintock was not married, and some colleagues went as far as to dismiss her theories as weird ideas of an eccentric old maid. Her work was eventually recognized. McClintock received the National Medal of Science in 1970, the Horitz Prize, and the Wolf Prize in 1981, and finally the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1983, 35 years after the first publication of her works on transposable elements. Hercule Poirot is a fictional Belgian detective created by British writer Agatha Christie. Poirot is one of Christie's most famous and long-running characters, appearing in 33 novels, to plays, and more than 50 short stories published between 1920 and 1975. In the last chapter of Murder on the Orient Express, Poirot propounds two solutions. After the first wrong and utterly preposterous solution, all passengers agree to the detective's explanation, probably underestimating the power of Poirot's little gray cells. As Dr. Constantine expresses his doubts on this theory, Poirot turns a curious glance on him. "I see," he said, "that I shall have to give you my second solution. But do not abandon this one too abruptly. You may agree with it later,